Hey guys, welcome back to Tamiya Legends, and once again, thank you for stopping by. So it's another Wednesday wind back, and this is the second one in this series, and I had to put this car on next because there is so much more to this full project than just meets the eye just by looking at it externally. As the title says, the world's most expensive TT01 Project Bling. So yeah, there was a lot of comments that I got that I want to talk about throughout this video. But what I will say quickly, if you watch all the video and watch to the end, I'm going to let you into a little secret about a massive, well, a fairly big mistake I made with this car, but at the time I didn't say it on the video. But yeah, at the end of the video, I'll tell you what I did. So let's have a look at how it started out in life. This is the kit. In my opinion, this is the best Porsche livery on the GT3 cars that Tamiya have ever done. Again, just my opinion. You don't see many of these kits around. I'm not too sure why that is. It was a Japanese racing team, KTR, so it might have been bigger over there. But as I say, this livery is just absolutely superb. This kit came out in February 2009 on part number 58422. So it's got a little bit of age to it. Obviously bog standard TT01, but it did come with the LED kit, which we'll go into later on. But just an absolutely gorgeous looking car. So, before we get into the gorgeous chassis and the actual sort of main project itself, let's just appreciate this body shell. It is absolutely superb. It's absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. So it was obviously two colours, white and blue. It was one of those where you get decals to blend the two colours in. So I had to tack them round the body shell first of all, and then mask it off that way. And the only other thing I did, obviously the wing stanchions were painted black, but I also did paint the wing sides. You did get decals in the kit to put the blue on, but I didn't like that. I thought it might look a little bit naff if it started to lift or whatever. So I just took a bit of extra time, masked them off, but I think that absolutely paid off. Overall, externally, it's just absolutely gorgeous. The wheels, I took a lot of time on the wheels as well. These Tamiya two-piece chrome wheels are absolutely superb. And just taking that little bit of time with black pen just to go around the rivets on it and things like that, and a couple of decals, and then the tyre decals, it just brought the wheels to life. Obviously, as you could see from the box, this is not the kit wheels, but these wheels for me just work so much better than the kit wheels. This was also my first ever kit with an LED set in there. Yeah, I'd never used one. Putting the light buckets in, so obviously when you masked the car, you had to mask the light buckets. And it was really straightforward. I really enjoyed doing it because, as I say, it was my first time. When it's powered up and the lights are on, you know, obviously in daylight it's naff, but if you run it at dusk, or if you have it in here with the lights out and you have the LEDs on, it looks super cool. I played about with them for a while, but yeah, that was cool. Right, before I take the shell off, I'll just show you a 30-second clip of a running video I made with this. It's nothing special, but it was just outside and it was just absolutely looking stunning. I have only ran this car once, but and that was enough for me, to be honest. But yeah, here's a short clip.
How good does that look? That is beautiful. So we're not going to break any and I'll call it a day at that, I think, guys, because it's funny, you know, because I've kept saying I'm going to retire this to the shelf, but I'm just watching it run and I'm thinking, yeah, is this something I want to run now and again?
So I hope you'll agree, it ran really well. I actually only ran that on standard Silvercam 540, and I actually ran it on 7.2 NIM. So it wasn't the quickest, but it wasn't meant to be. Right, let's get on to the crux of this project. Look at that thing. So much to talk about with this. I will bring the camera over in a little bit, and we'll get close-ups on all this stuff. But yeah, a brief summary of what this was. I say a lot on my videos that I don't buy anything just to make a YouTube video. And hand on heart, that is the truth. I only want something. I'll only spend hard-earned cash on something that I really want. I wouldn't go out and buy something really obscure just to get, oh, it might get more views. I'm not that guy. That's not, because if I did that, and then it's what I'm left with. I've got no interest in it. So that's not, I hope that makes sense. I want to do something that at the end of it, something like this, I look at and I go, oh yeah, I did that. That's kind of me. Anyway, obviously the kit was standard plastic TT01 chassis, and I wanted to do, sorry, so just going back, this is one exception to that. This was a YouTube project, because it was quite in depth. And what it was I started Googling TT01 hop-ups, and the Tamiya stuff was all bar sort of discontinued. Well, it definitely discontinued, but there wasn't much about. But I did see you could get a few bits and bats from various different manufacturers. So we ended up getting the PMM carbon chassis. That's where I started. I ordered the full Racing alloy upgrade kit. Very expensive, but you know, it's so blingy. It was Project Bling, that was the idea. Different wheels and tyres, carbon shock towers, TRF white touring car springs to make them look like TRF shocks. Fully ball race. The chassis did come with kind of a basic steering system in there, but I fitted and adapted the Racing one to go into it, so it all matches in the blue. And it went together superbly. The one problem I had right at the beginning, because I didn't do enough research on it, I just assumed the TT01 gearbox housings front and rear were separate. So I'd ordered most of the bits, and then just one night I was flicking through the instructions, a manual to this, and I realised that the front and back gearbox housings, the inners, were actually moulded to the bathtub chassis. And I was like, oh no! And I really thought, because I'd spent a lot of money on the bits, and I was really worried that I wouldn't better use it. Anyway, luckily, after a little bit of Googling, I found out that there was a company who made just a standard TT01 gearbox housings. So I got a set of those on order, and that allowed me to finish this off. And again, yeah, I just absolutely love this thing. So before I bring a camera over, there were some very interesting comments with this, and the main one was, for all the money you've got in this, you could have bought a TRF chassis. And obviously these guys were absolutely spot on, but they were kind of missing what I was doing. As I said, it was a YouTube project, you know, to make 3 or 4 videos out of it. But yeah, I could have done, but that wouldn't have been as much fun. I would never ever do this again. You know, even on a TT02, I wouldn't have a version of this on a TT02 fully blinged up, because it was kind of a one-time deal for me. And again, I've certainly got no regrets about it. It's even got alloy disc brakes on it, which I'll show you. So I think that's enough. I think I've kind of covered everything. Let's bring a camera over, and you can actually have a good look at this bad boy. So there she is. Love it. So yeah, as I say, full Racing alloy kit. That's all the arms and the braces, prop shaft cups. The big alloy motor mount actually came with the car, and the shocks came with the Racing kit, but they come with black springs and really short ones. So I had to spend about, at the time, because there was none about, I had to spend about $20 buying a set of white TRF ones. But oops, I do think that they make all the difference and make those shocks look really cool. That's the steering I was telling you about that I put in. So that's all sort of custom, and that went together really well actually. That blue turnbuckle's a little bit of a letdown. I couldn't get it the same blue, unfortunately, and yeah, I wasn't happy about that at the time, because to have it all matching is one of the main reasons why I do these things. And then again, the wheels just looks absolutely superb. The quality of it is great. really smooth. Now, I know a lot of guys don't rate alloy first of all, and then, yeah, racing. I get that. But again, this was a showpiece, to be honest. You know, it runs, it's you could run this all day long, no problem. But it was just to have it looking sexy, to be honest. And then, as I said earlier, this was the light buckets that we fitted. They just sit in with double-sided tape, and then you get some little clips, again, which are stickered to sort of hide the wires so we don't run past the windows and what have you. But yeah, the overall effect, it just looks absolutely super. Obviously, even when, what I mean by that is, even when they're not on, just to have those light buckets in absolutely transforms the look of the car. And then the finished article, just beautiful. I have probably got the shell a little bit too low, if I'm honest. It'll still run like that. It doesn't catch the arches at the front when it steers. But obviously, if there was any sort of suspension movement, then it would. But it had to be that low for me. And then from the other angle, yeah, superb. Stick in the comments what you think, guys. Is it? Do you agree with me? It's definitely one of the best liveries Tamiya's ever produced. And then that sexy back end, lovely. And then from the side where you can sort of see just how actually low it is. But yeah, for me now, when that's sat on the shelf, that is the stance of it is absolutely spot on. I wouldn't change it I wouldn't change any of that car. Yeah, it's just for how I want a car to look. That just ticks every box. So in summary, it was, as I said, just a great project from start to finish. Would I do it again? Not a chance. Not interested. I do like my little upgrades, but not something as full on as that. The whole thing, I should have probably worked this out. The whole thing was probably very close to £400 to do from start to finish, including paints and masking and stuff like that. 450 rings a bell, but of course that's the price of the kit as well, which I think was about £150 at the time, I think. So yeah, hell of a lot of money, but yeah, I wouldn't go back. If I could go back in time, I certainly would do it again. I wouldn't change it. Right, the mistake I made on it. On the first couple of videos, and I should mention, all the videos for this car, every stage right through to the running video, will be in the description of this video, should you want to go check anything out. Because I'll probably, if you're interested, you might want to know where certain things came from or how certain things went together. They're all in those original videos. But yeah, in the early stages of the first video, or maybe the second, I was really wanting to put a Tamiya driver cockpit in this car because it would have looked epic with it. So I bought the cockpit like you do. I'd planned to fit the window decals and then with a craft knife cut round the stanchions, whatever you call them, window edges, and then take the centre smoked bit out and then paint up a driver a driver cockpit, and then get it fitted. But here's what I did. My brain was completely turned off at the time. I cut the shell out, the wing out, mounted it on the car. I was really happy with it. It was time to get it cleaned. So I took everything off, took it over to the sink, hot soapy liquid, washed it all out, and then I thought, oh, I'll key it as well. So just with a Brillo pad on the sort of a rougher green side, I just started scoring it. Like you do, so the paint sits on it. Anyone realise what I did yet? Dried it all off, really happy with it, brought it back when it was dry, fitted the window masks on the inside and got all the paint on, really happy with it. Until I came to take the window masks off, and then I realised, because I'm a dumbass, that I'd keyed the full car, I'd keyed the windscreens, so I'd just done the full car. And I was absolutely gutted at the time because a big part of this was to have the cockpit in there. Yeah, it was an error which I've learned from. Now, even I've got to be honest, it wasn't big, severe, nasty, dirty, big scratches. You know, they're just very fine. And from certain angles, you couldn't even see them, but in certain lights, you could see lines. Now I do know, or I believe, you can actually put that right with rubbing it down on the inside and what have you. But at the time, what I did, I just thought, well, we'll bat on and we'll see what happens. So once I decaled it all up and I had the smoked windows in, I thought, do you know what? That actually doesn't look too bad. Oh, that's the excuse I used. But yeah, I've learnt from that, and I'll touch wood, I won't do that again. So yeah, I think I've covered everything. Just really wanted to show this again for any subscribers or people watching who didn't actually see this one first time round, because I think it's worth seeing. Anyway, this one will get retired back into the glass cabinet now, and we'll move on to the next one. So guys, once again, thanks so much for watching. It's massively appreciated. If you are new to this channel, if you could please consider liking and subscribing to support us. And if you do that, smash that notification bell for our weekly videos. And as always, happy horsing.